Our media, they're obsessed with fact-checking, especially President Trump and Republicans. But when it comes to holding themselves accountable, or Democrats, they'll never do it. It's easier just to call Trump a racist, as CNN and MSNBC have done over 1,100 times since Sunday. Well, they're not going to hold liberals account, though. That would be too difficult, or maybe too embarrassing. Well, take Representative Ilhan Omar. Yesterday, she rattled off a number of falsehoods in her remarks hitting back at President Trump.
Are you frustrated at all with Democratic leadership at this point, not willing to give any money for a border wall? Would you, like your fellow freshman Democrat Katie Hill, like to see some money toward a barrier?
Absolutely not. I believe this is a manufactured crisis, and the president yet again is throwing a temper tantrum for his quest to get a racist, xenophobic wall.
I would just note a point of fact here before we move on that indeed we did see a record number of families illegally crossing the border in December, up 240% year over year. As you call it, a manufactured crisis.
This country was founded on the radical idea that we are created equal and endowed by our Creator with inalienable rights. And endowed by our Creator with inalienable rights. And yes, we have a long way before we fully live up to those values. It is for this reason precisely that we have to take action when a president is openly violating the oath he took to the Constitution of the United States and the core values we aspire to. As Martin Luther King said, all we say to America is, be true to what you say on paper. Be true to what you say on paper.
All we say to America is be true to what you said on paper.
Be true to what you say on paper.
All we say to America is be true to what you said on paper.
I believe this is a pivotal moment in our country. The pivotal moment
in our country.
The eyes of history is watching us.
The eyes of history is watching us. The eyes of history is watching us.
The eyes of history is watching us. Right now, the president is carrying out mass deportation raids across this country in each one of our districts. Right now, the president is committing human rights abuses at the border, keeping children in cages, and having human beings drinking out of toilets.
Water, like out the toilet?
Well, that claim that was made famous by AOC has been refuted and debunked by multiple witnesses inside the facility she toured.
They were drinking water out of the toilet.
Did you see somebody actually do that while you were
there? She did a fantastic job of acting and pretending that everything is horrible. But I can tell you that it's lies. It's far from the truth. I just don't even get why you would go there. I think some of these agents themselves, I spoke to them, and they were in shock. They said, they came down here, they looked at the facility. There's no such thing as us telling individuals to drink out of toilets. That is just one of the most ridiculous claims I've ever heard.
Joining us now, the acting ICE director, Matt Albans. Mr. Director, what is happening this morning at this moment?
We are doing targeted enforcement actions against specific individuals who have had their day in immigration court and have been ordered removed by an immigration judge. We are merely executing those lawfully issued judge's orders.
Right now, the president is carrying out mass deportation raids across this country.
Right now, the president is committing human rights abuses at the border.
Sorry, Congresswoman, but even Politico referred to the raids as routine and smaller removal operations with no sign of the wide-scale blitz.
Well, these are individuals who have come to this country illegally, had the opportunity to make an asylum claim in front of an immigration judge, and most of them chose not to avail themselves of that opportunity and didn't even show up for their first hearing. But in addition to that, we went above and beyond in this circumstance and gave these individuals back in February an opportunity to turn themselves in to arrange for an orderly process to be removed from the country. Vast majority of them, only 3%, actually responded to those letters and came in.
This president, who has been credibly accused of committing multiple crimes, including colluding with foreign government to interfere with our election.
Bullshit. Special counsel Robert Mueller has exonerated the president and his campaign on the question of collusion.
This is a definitive political victory for President Trump.
And this is a big victory for Donald Trump.
This is a win for this president.
And the news is Trump won this weekend.
President and his campaign were vindicated.
A vindicated President Trump made his way back to Washington.
He's been vindicated by authoritative report.
The president has just been vindicated in a very big way.
There was no coordination or conspiracy.
So this vindicates the president on collusion.
Total vindication of the president and his staff.
This is a president who has overseen the most corrupt administration in our history.
Bullshit.
And pursued an agenda to allow millions of Americans to die from a lack of health care while he transfers millions of dollars in tax cuts to corporations.
You serious?
And then we put forth a bill that actually gives tax cuts to the middle class, about $2,000 on average per family, and no Democrat decides to vote for it. It's absolutely incredible, and I think they're going to pay for it next year.
This is a president who has said, grab women by the pussy.
Somebody better call the ambulance.
I've never said I'm a perfect person, nor pretended to be someone that I'm not. I've said and done things I regret, and the words released today on this more than a decade-old video are one of them.
This is a president who's called black athletes sons of bitches.
We're proud of our country. We respect our flag. Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners when somebody disrespects our flag?
When somebody disrespects our flag.
To say, get that son of a bitch off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired!
Less than a week after Hugh Jackson said he would prefer his players not protest during the national anthem, the Browns responded by holding the league's largest protest since Colin Kaepernick in August of last year.
I wanted to support my African-American teammates today who wanted to take a knee.
Black athletes, sons of bitches.
When somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of a bitch off the field.
Black athletes. This is a president who has called black people who come from black and brown countries shitholes.
Somebody call the ambulance.
Okay. So Donald Trump made a comment stating that Africa is a shithole. I can see everyone is complaining and saying he's racist and all that. My friend, what he said is true. Africa is a shithole. Big shithole. Okay? A very big one. Big shithole. Like this shit. Have you ever seen a shit like this? Yes, Africa is a shithole. Why am I saying this? We all know the truth. But when a white man says the truth, he is racist. Look, Donald Trump is a dying breed of a man. He's an alpha. You understand? He says things the way it's supposed to be said.
This is a president who has equated neo-Nazis with those who protest against them in Charlottesville.
That's a damn lie, and you know it! But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But
this is the agenda of white nationalists. Whether it is happening in chat rooms or it's happening on national TV, and now it's reached the White House garden.
I've condemned neo-Nazis. I've condemned many different groups, but not all of those people were neo-Nazis, believe me.
So where's the Washington Post fact checker? Where's PolitiFact? Like the fake Harriet Tubman story, they fall silent when the facts no longer suit them.